Welcome back to Melodic Memories of Light's Monarch. I'm Casey, and today I needed to touch upon Black Veil Brides. Obviously, my last couple episodes have been about them, and we finally got the outcome of what the whole Path of Ascension was all about in the first place. It's so crazy, actually, that I can say it's over. The build up to it, the intensity, the absolute everything they were doing to create this atmosphere for this new era. I am so behind, I am so for, and the fact that we finally got what they were teasing and what they were leading us up to, which is only the beginning, mind you, is incredibly exciting. So let me dive right into that first and foremost. For those of you that don't know, where I last left off was on the Trial of Chains, because that's what they did on Monday. And after that, the very next day on Tuesday, which was April 1st, April Fool's Day, they weren't in a joking mood, though, because they ended up posting on their Outcast channel over on Instagram. Those that don't know, go be a part of it, because it is the place to be for Black Veil Brides fans. And what they said was, as the trials draw to their end, what have you uncovered? What truth was in the shadows? Do you belong among the outcast? And now, are you willing to look beyond the veil to see what waits in the dark? The next door does not open itself. You must choose to step through. The trial of the crown begins now. What will you sacrifice for power, or will you walk away now? You have come this far. Choose carefully. Good luck. Then the very next day, Wednesday, they said, today is the final reckoning. Will you ascend? Later in the day, they went on to say, we have all walked the same path. Each journey was shaped by scars unseen, and that is what binds us. We are outcasts. Some of you endured, others turned away, unable to face the mirror within. Not all are meant to ascend, but now, as the dust settles and the silence deepens, we must ask the question that burns beneath it all. Who cares for the forgotten? Who mourns the loss? Who remembers us? The final choice is yours. And then they created a poll the very next day, did you ascend? And the veil has lifted. And just today, the saints are all sinners. That's all the modern posts up to date, at least. And if you look into the chat, if you were following along and walking the path of ascension, if you will, I ended up replying with a crown to say that I embrace the weight of the throne. Power is not given, it is taken, and now it is yours to wield. And since the next day I chose to ascend, they sent me a link to their website, blackveilbrides.net. The outcasts do not wait, they do not kneel, they ascend. You are one of us now. Your reward is here. Use password blank. So, in saying all of that, since I did ascend, as that was my original very first choice, I did do both. I was following both paths to see where they went. But that was only because I was so damn curious and so hyped for this even being a thing. So the fact that I got to follow along and be a part of it makes me ecstatic as a fan. And opening up the link to the website, using the password I am outcast, grants you access into this website. And in doing so, you are able to see everything that is new with Black Veil Brides. Now you don't need the password, but then when they first launched the website, you needed a password. You open it up, and it's no longer Bleeders themed, because that's what they originally had before this era started off. But you open it up, and first thing you're greeted with is a brand new photo of the band. New promotional photo. Probably going to be the new photo for the new era. Maybe even on the back of the CD. Who knows? Regardless. They are there, and right underneath it says, who cares about Black Veil Brides? Official trailer. So that was what this the biggest announcement, the biggest thing that happened regarding Black Veil in what they were doing was to show us fans, us outcasts, the very first sneak peek of all they got planned with not only the tour. Obviously you can buy VIP to it from this website. You can meet the band and get a really cool looking comic book photo-esque, like they edit your photo that you get taken with them into a comic book page. I believe it's just digital. I don't think they actually hand you a physical comic book print, but still really cool for a Black Veil fan amongst being a comic book fan too. But also on top of that, it has brand new merch, which, oh, don't even get me started. All the sinners, or all the saints are sinners rather, that seems to be the new big tagline. And I know that it directly references Fields of Bone. All the sinners go to hell. That kind of like chant that they do. It's very cool that they're bringing that kind of concept back. It makes me want to say that yes, this era is directly linked into the Phantom Tomorrow, because why else wouldn't it be at this point? Because it just has the iconography, the imagery, and also just some of the lyrics that are on the pieces of merch. Just, I don't know, it screams incredibly like it is something, if not directly linked to the Phantom Tomorrow, it was definitely incredibly inspired by being able to do that kind of comic book-esque monster world, that concept that Andy came up with for the Phantom Tomorrow in its entirety. It seems like this has something to do with it, in one way or another. What that will be, who the hell knows? But on the merch, it literally shows a hoodie and t-shirt for all of the different ones. They've got The Saints Are All Sinners, obviously seems to be the main thing, because that's kind of sprinkled throughout all of the merch. And then they have Axe Blood, Scales of Justice, and The Raven. Judging off of the trials we did, some of the imagery, pretty much all of them, are found on these pieces of merch. And not only that, it's very cool to look at, but not only that, the Black Veil Brides logo that they're using, the star charm, the pentacharm if you will, their star logo is the exact same one that they used for Black Veil Brides 4, which I thought was very interesting to point out. I don't know if that is a reason behind anything of what they're doing, but it's something I personally noticed, because also they have a crown of thorns. It's called the Raven hoodie, but it's a crown of thorns with a Black Veil logo, not the Black Veil 4 logo inside of it, but the regular Black Veil Star logo. Just very interesting choice of different icons that they're putting on these pieces of merch. I don't know if it really means anything. I don't mean to look into it like a crazy fan, but it just kind of made me think a little bit of like, I wonder if there's a reasoning behind why they're using these specific pieces of imagery that we've seen before for some of them, and then this other imagery that they used for these trials. I'm so intrigued. Like, I just I know I keep saying that, but I'm so intrigued, because then it all boils down to the documentary called Who Cares About Black Veil Brides, which seems to be a 5-episode docu-series, would be the only thing I can think of to call it. I'm not really sure anything of what it's about aside from the road to Wembley, since they just played that stadium, sold it. I want to say sold it out, but they played it with Creeper. They were the headliners, I believe co-headliners, but all the same. Black Veil got to headline Wembley Stadium in one way or another, which is a huge, huge, huge thing for the band. And I know that it is one of Andy's dreams and has been ever since he was a kid, which is also touched upon in the trailer for the documentary. So, in saying all of that, I am personally extremely excited, because it's just another peek behind the curtain, and they are being completely honest, completely transparent, and on top of it all, telling the truth, as when the trailer actually ended, Juliet was about to say something and Andy stopped her, saying, "No, we're telling the truth on this thing. You don't have to make me look good," kind of idea. So it makes me very excited. The trailer is now out on their YouTube channel. You don't have to go to their website to see it. It's also on Andy's Twitter, amongst Instagram. It is there. It is out there for everyone to see. It just says coming soon. I don't know when soon is, what that means, or where we're going from here. But my speculation, this is complete speculation, mind you, all I can think of is we're getting this documentary series at some point in the summer. My best guess is after they're done their tour with Baby Metal, or if not afterwards, than during, and the last episode will kind of coincide with some sort of big, if not announcement, something to get us ready and know that this isn't the end. We're just getting started for this era, because who cares about Black Veil Brides? They're going to remind us why we care about them and who the outcasts truly are, obviously. So, my best guess is they're going to do their docuseries, and by the end of the year rather, come, say, like November-ish, we'll get the new Black Veil single for their album to come next year. Complete speculation, mind you, just the vibe I get, my personal guess, my assumption. I'm just excited. I personally was not disappointed one bit. I was able to be there. I was a part of it. I couldn't ask for more aside from a song. Like, that's it, right? Aside from getting a single, aside from getting that album that everyone is so excited for in the fandom. And I have to say, even though it wasn't a song, it wasn't the album itself, it was still incredibly exciting as a fan, especially as someone that has followed them for so long. As I had mentioned, I have literally been following Black Veil Brides for 11 years now, going on 11 years. And it's crazy to think that a lot of the clips in the documentary were things that I seen. Like, I was there for, if not in person, then at least online. Like, I was a part of the fandom when these things were going on. Like, him jumping into the crowd in the trailer, that was at, like, a Vancouver show or something. I remember the video that they pulled that... they pulled the video from YouTube, obviously, in the trailer, because I've seen that video before. Like, it's just surreal to see this band, one that I have adored for so many years, really come out of their own, out of their shell, to show us who they really are. And they've always been transparent. They've always been quite open about who they are, what they stand for, and everything. And this just seems to be another peak. And as a huge fan, I'm very excited to be able to know where they're at, where they're going from here on forward, because they've been around since 2009 was Knives and Pens, so realistically, they've been around a long time now, and they are more of a legacy act than a fresh new band by any means, if you had to consider them one or the other. And I think it's cool that they're really diving in deep to tell their story outside of the musical realm, and doing it the way that they're doing it by not compromising anything in their artistry, and just getting people to come along, the people that actually care and want to follow along. Like, they made that whole trial thing last the 9 days. They could have just done it Monday to Friday and had a new song come out or a new trailer or something. But no, they stuck to their guns. They know the artistry that they want to show off. And obviously they did the whole 9 thing to reference the 9 levels of hell, amongst 9 the character himself, and all of the other references to different songs of their past discography that they've also been, like, talking about. It's just, everything about it is just so cool, and they've really not let go of any of their just passion for their craft. They really have a world that their music lives in, and they are so dedicated to it. And obviously us fans, me included, and I'm speaking for the fan base here in saying, and I don't think I'm wrong in saying so, that we also support it. We are also there for it, incredibly so. The last thing I'll touch upon it, though, is I did get an email after the fact. I believe this email was on Wednesday, to say, since I passed the Ascension, Path of the Outcasts, Ascension. We honor your passage through the first gauntlet, Path of the Outcasts, Ascension. You endured the 9 trials. You did not falter. And now you stand among the initiated. Breathe if you must, but know this respite is brief. The next gauntlet stirs beneath the soil, and it awakens soon. Use password I am outcast for early access. So, that was the email to give you access if you didn't have it in your Instagram already. I'm not sure, but they added that last little bit. The next gauntlet stirs beneath the soil and it awakens soon. What do you mean, Black Veil? What is next? What gauntlet are you going to put us through next? What hoops must you make us jump through to prove that we do care? And what is it going to lead to? I am so curious. I've got so many questions, but I will have to leave it with that because that's all that we've got for now with Black Veil Brides. Whatever they do, I will be sure to talk about it because obviously they are my favorite band of all time, and I could never get tired of talking about them, to be honest. So, until then, we'll see, we'll wait, and we'll keep our ears to the ground. Whenever that documentary gets a release date announced, I will let everyone know, and I will be there for it, because hell yes, give me all of the lore, all of everything Black Veil Brides. We are ready. The next thing I wanted to get talking about here is to say, if my voice sounds weird, is because I was actually at the bar on Friday for quite the wicked show. So Better Than Fred's, for those that don't know, is Grand Prairie's local venue. It is a bar, but is kind of a legendary bar. It seems to be a legendary venue, one that is talked about through artists and the scene quite heavily, from what I've been told at least. It's always recommended of like, yo, you need to play Fred's. And that was even confirmed by the band because I was able to talk to them that night. So I was able to go see on April 4th, right before the weekend, not to mention the weekend itself was so much fun. So bear with me if my voice sounds off at all. I'm definitely dealing the way I can, but the show itself was Calling All Captains. I finally got to see Calling All Captains, and they are like a pop punk kind of emo heavy band. I don't really know how to explain it other than that, but their music is so just, it bleeds emotion, and it really goes to show with their newest EP called Emotion Sickness. Like, yeah, there's a reason they called it that. Their music just bleeds pure emotion. And I mean, yeah, you have to like pop punk kind of rock music to really enjoy it, but live it's even fucking better. I didn't even think that possible because of how much I do enjoy them. And I was able to actually listen to all of their stuff, their whole discography. I checked it out and made a playlist myself and have been vibing to it so hard, so heavily. And it was just so much fun. So let me backtrack to the very beginning of that day. I was able to, like I said, finish up my playlist, had everything all together, was vibing through it, vibing to it rather, throughout the whole entire day when I was working. And by the time the day ended, I ended up meeting up with Reese because she came with me, as the 5th of April, the very next day, was her 23rd birthday. So happy birthday to Reese. And the show itself, when we finally got to it after getting ready, was quite the fun time. We ended up going and running into my buddy Paul, as he actually took his wife out to it, which I was so surprised by. I didn't think she would be down for that kind of music. She's kind of the person to like country music and not much else. So the fact she was even there was crazy. And I guess myself telling Paul that they were an emo pop punk band was kind of the wrong thing to say, because the vibe he got when I told him about them was the simple fact that he's like, oh, it's probably like Fall Out Boy or something. And I was like, nah, man, you. Glad he checked him out first, because he checked him out and then got tickets, because he's like, hell yeah. So we had to buy tickets at the door all the same, and it was a great time. The bands were Idio Fame and Gutter King to open, Calling All Captains, the closer. And obviously I had to get some merch. They had a shit ton of merch, probably the most merch I've ever seen a band bring to Better Than Fred's, but I get it. They just started their tour, Grand Prairie being the very first date. I've been reaching out to them on Twitter a little bit here and there saying like, yo, I'm excited for the show. And they also tweeted a thing about bringing your Beyblades to the show, which I will touch upon at the very end here because that was fucking funny. It was a great moment. But to get to the actual show itself, Idio Fame. They are a very small band from Kelowna, BC, so shout out to them. They can fucking rock. They are more just regular, I want to say like pop punk band kind of vibe compared to the other two. They are definitely the least heavy of the three, And I guess the way that they say it, Idiofame is a melodic punk band from Kelowna, BC. So, in saying that, they've only got 467 monthly listeners on Spotify with 3 songs. That's it. So everything they were playing was kind of brand new. And when they were playing it and saying, like, hey, this is unreleased, I was curious as to why, because I never actually listened to them before. And in getting to know that that's why, they're pretty well a brand new band, which is crazy, because I could see them going places even though they really need to show they have drive, because I do know their singer is definitely an older guy, and whether or not they'll really push to reach the heights, the hunger that those heights need to be had to reach them, like, power to them. I know they have the skill, and they really impressed me. I couldn't tell you what songs I liked of theirs, as I don't know the names of them, especially as most of them were, again, unreleased. But for an opener, they still played like 45 minutes, even though they were late getting on stage. And they weren't a disappointment. They got the crowd fired up. Paul, Reese, and I were all down on the floor, ready, right front and center for the entire show. It was so good. And even more so than just with Idiofame, because after that was Gutter King. And they are a metalcore band, probably the easiest way to coin them anyways, from Calgary, Alberta. So very close to home, definitely further than Edmonton, but Calling All Captains being an Edmonton band, they brought Gutter King, a Canadian Calgarian band, along with them. And they were the heaviest act of the night, definitely the heaviest. Calling All Captains were heavy too, but I believe that Gutter King just has more of the roars and screams compared to Calling All Captains, which doesn't mean anything wrong. Gutter King fucking slaughtered the floor, because I can even say this with certainty. Reese, she was telling me after the show that she actually liked Gutter King the most out of all 3. And that took me off guard, because I know that she never listened to that kind of music at all before I started introducing it to her. She had a little bit of influence here and there, but I really kind of pushed her into that kind of music. Not on purpose either, it's just, what I would send, and not that I know any Gutter King specifically, but that kind of vibe, that genre of music, the loud, screamy stuff, she was never super into. So the fact she liked that the most was kind of like a full circle, just like happy moment, like holy shit, that's awesome. Regardless of who she would have liked more, I just thought it was really cool to mention that no matter what, if you keep an open mind, this music still has a place, and it has so much emotion because it is so raw, especially in the live format that we were able to see it in. So even though I don't know much of Gutter King, I still have to admit they put on a wicked show. And as a second opener, if you will, the middle act, they really brought the energy and got quite a bit of people out there on the floor, even more than Idiofame did. And people were hyped to see them. They were actually jumping along and everything, and obviously not as much as they were for Calling All Captains as they were the headliners, but Gutter King, they deserve some respect because they really impressed. Both bands impressed me because I knew nothing about them at all. So the fact that they lived up to just putting on a good fucking show is enough for me, and I can't even complain. I can't even begin to complain, because after that, not too long after, mind you, Calling All Captains took the stage. And throughout the whole show, the singer for Calling All Captains was actually kind of walking through the crowd, rocking out a little bit with people, and also over in the corner, I seen him like trying to do a kickflip. And I don't really know why that was his thing, because he tried it on stage too and failed miserably. No shade thrown, because I couldn't even begin to fucking try. I would eat shit just by looking at it, to be honest, because I don't know how to skate at all. So props to him for even like attempting, but it was attempted with failure, unfortunately, throughout the show. But he still owned it and just fucking ran with it. He seems to be a hilarious guy, just very charismatic, very sarcastic in ways, and it really shined through in his stage presence, because I have never obviously seen them before. The first Calling All Captains experience I ever had was with their EP last year, just it being recommended through me through the algorithm of Spotify itself. and then going to Neck Deep and getting a flyer from the singer. And it was just all really cool to finally see it come full circle and be able to experience it that way. And I just can't really say anything else other than I'm just happy that I was able to see them and get to experience it, because my God, their whole set from the very first song, which I believe they started with Fool's Gold. I can't be certain, but I think that's what it was. But every song that they were playing were bangers. Like everything, even the ones that I don't know all the words for, because I'm not going to lie and say I'm the biggest fan of them. I love their music though, and I cannot wait to become the biggest fan. Well, not the biggest, but one of the biggest, because they sound just as good live, and they played Nerve, which was their very first single. I adore that one. That was really cool to hear. Alongside, I know that they did end up playing Undone and Wasted, which were two of Reese's favorites she mentioned to me. And I personally jaw dropped on the floor when they were like, all right, it's time for us to play our entire EP. Like, granted, it is only 4 songs if you take out the interlude, which they did when they were playing it, but they played their entire Emotion Sickness EP, okay? Like, that was such an off guard, like, holy shit moment. I did record the whole entire, like, 4-song run. I hope it turned out okay. I haven't gotten the chance to look at it myself yet since being home and having to go to the birthday. Like, I haven't had time, but I do plan on looking at them and at least posting them to my TikTok page, so go follow me at Lights Monarch. It will definitely be there, and I do plan on uploading them to different platforms in the potential case that it gets banned in the US, as I know that cuts out a lot of people, and obviously other apps are not being banned, so I will be posting them somewhere else. I just have to figure out where and how, but all the same, calling all captains. Holy shit, they were able to play that fucking EP. And that EP, like, I know it's just an EP, and their album itself that they have released already, The Slowly Getting Better, that slaps, obviously. Like, very much so. Like honestly, I'm kind of beating myself up for not getting the vinyl for their album. I got a vinyl, though. I did. I just didn't buy the Slowly Getting Better vinyl. I bought the Emotion Sickness vinyl because it just felt right, because that's what got me into them, and it came full circle with them fucking playing it in its entirety. So happy. Obviously, Wallflower, Be Cool, Skin and Bones, One More Day, and Sunbeam. Oh my God. I was just so happy with it. Wallflower is one of my favorites of theirs, and obviously Sunbeam is a banger. My favorite song they played that entire night, though, just for the vibe of it and me being able to yell along to it because I know the most of the words for it, was Skin and Bones. Skin and Bones. That song, man, that song. Not even that. Like, they have so many good ones. I know they also played Friends and Family. I believe that's how they close out the show before doing their encore. Which, yes, they did a 2-song encore. Can't remember what songs they actually played by name, but they obviously chose some bangers from their career. Nothing was a letdown in that show at all. I was incredibly happy. Like, yes, it is better than Fred's, so the audio isn't always going to be the best, as it never is, but it was worth it. It was such a fucking fun time. Calling all captains, they brought the energy, and even though that the show didn't end until right on midnight, like they ended on the fucking strike of midnight, so I was able to turn around and yell happy birthday to Reese, which was a good moment, obviously, but they ended right at midnight, and they were able to keep the energy brought up to the 11 that it was already at from the other 2 bands, if not crank it even higher, throughout the whole time, the whole set, the whole show. I was so happy, and it was just a euphoric experience to be able to rock out to that music and them specifically after finding that EP in a time when I really needed it and in a time when it really helped and spoke to myself. Very happy that it finally was able to come full circle in a literal sense of them playing it live in its entirety. Like, I know they're probably going to do that the whole entire tour, but just very happy, very fitting for myself, and just makes me feel honestly full and emotionally fulfilled in a way, because I adore everything about them. and I really adored the show itself. So congrats, Calling All Captains. You did a fucking wicked show, a wicked job at having a wicked show at Fred's. To speak on the merch, though, I was able to buy the Emotion Sickness vinyl alongside a t-shirt because I had to. Why not, obviously. And it was an Emotion Sickness t-shirt. It has a flower on the very back of it amongst the front. Can't really remember anything else that's on it, but I do plan on wearing it tomorrow to work to show off some new merch. And I was able to thank you to Reese, because she's really the one that pushed me to it since she was with me. Amongst another random lady telling me to just go up there and do it. I was able to go up on stage after the show and meet the singer of Calling All Captains, and that was a hell of a time. And not only that, I was able to get my vinyl, the EP itself, I was able to get that signed by the entire band. All of them. I walked up to the singer, got to introduce myself, and just say hello, and asked them to sign it, and he asked if we had a pen. We didn't. So he went out of his way to get a Sharpie from his merch table, sign it for us, and then find the other band members to get them to sign it for us, and then gave it back. Who does that? Like, who does that? Not only that, but they were doing that specific thing, the whole signing and everything, but also saying hi to everybody. Like, they weren't turning people away. They weren't being rude. They're some of the most down-to-earth kind of guys that I've ever been, like, able to meet in a band, especially at Fred's in that setting. Most of them don't want anything to do with the people, or if they do, they just kind of seem a little bit annoyed. But no, these guys were right there, right ready to talk, and I was able to chat with them a little bit, just kind of asking them, like, so man, you're 30, like, how long have you been at this? I know you've been saying, like, you know, you have these songs, and there's a guy in the crowd saying that they did a Royals cover, and that was from 2014 or something, so I was curious, and he just said, he's like, man, yeah, I've been at it for a long time, and it's just a passion. You just keep on wanting more, and you keep on chasing that hunger and trying to satiate it. And I know that's not his exact words, mind you, but it was just along those lines, and it was just nice to hear that no matter what, he hasn't given up. And obviously, you just take what you can. You use TikTok, you use social media, whatever thing that you can use to get your music, your voice, your art heard and seen. And they are finally lucky to be able to get even more chances to do that with the modern landscape. And it was cool to have that little bit of a chat. And then I believe, guitarist walked up too, and I was able to talk to him a little bit. And he mentioned the thing about Fred's being a legendary place and how everyone was telling them to come to Grand Prairie and play Fred's, and that they're so happy they're finally able to do so because of just the whole being told to do it all the time. And they were able to do so. They finally came to Grand Prairie, and I can confirm they were not disappointed one bit. Grand Prairie, they even posted on Twitter afterwards saying it was a hell of a fucking show. And I'm just so glad that we were able to surprise them, because they said it on stage too while they were playing, like in between songs, that they didn't expect there to be this many people out at their show. So it was really cool to be like, hell yeah, I was there, and I can't wait till they come back, because I brought that Beyblade. I mentioned they posted a tweet about Beyblades, and I brought my Beyblade to the show just in the off chance, because yeah, I know I have a Beyblade and I'm like 26, but the Beyblade is the one that I have from when I was just a small child, probably like 6 or 7, and definitely from the early 2000s, as it was one of my brothers, yada yada, doesn't matter too much, but I brought it with me. And one of his bandmates, and he even posted it on Twitter later saying, like the next day, saying that one of his bandmates told him not to bring it so it didn't get broken or stolen. And he was so chapped. He's like, bro, like, oh, I knew this would happen. I'm so chapped. Like, this can't, like, fuck. And he just, like, leaned into me, gave me a huge fucking, like, reached out his hand and, like, shook my hand intensely, like, thank you so much, dude, like, made my night kind of thing. It was just a really cool experience, and I know it sounds super silly, but I just had to ask. I'm like, so, who around here runs the Twitter? I need to know. And they're like, oh, well, the singer does. And I was like, well, To have you know, bro, and I pulled it out of my pocket because it was in my pocket the whole fucking show in my leather jacket. I'm like, I have my Beyblade. Where's the stadium? And that's how it led to that. So, just a funny moment to show they are down to earth guys and just like what it seems to be like a couple of nerds. It was very, very fitting, very happy, just a good moment for me. And I would love to be able to chat with them some more, and it'd be cool to get them on this podcast. So I will attempt to reach out to them, see if they've got anything going on. I know they're on tour, so odds are it won't be for a while, as they'll be very busy going on tour all across Canada. Amongst wherever else they're going, I can't fully remember. But they are on social media. If you have any desire to check them out, I would definitely recommend you do so, especially with their new EP. Give it a listen, because you're not going to be disappointed. And if you are, tell me why. Tell me why you don't like it. And even if you don't, tell me what it made you feel, because that is the point of art. That is the point of music. And no matter what, music is beautiful if it makes you feel something. Even if it's something a little weird, something a little dark, no matter what, it is music, it is a feeling, it is love in one way or another. And as cheesy as it sounds, it is beautiful, and can't really say any more than that. Aside from all of that, though, the show was insane. I had an amazing time. And to end off this episode here, I just wanted to shout out Kingdom Hearts. My very favorite, my absolute favorite thing in this world aside from music. Kingdom Hearts. Happy 23rd birthday. I know the birthday was last month in March, but all the same, it turned 23 years old, and that I know I tweeted about it just very briefly, but I had to say something. That series, Kingdom Hearts, it means so much to me. And I mean it to say that I wouldn't be who I am without it. I wouldn't have become the person I am without its influence and without its demeanor, its storytelling, everything. Like, it is ingrained into me to my core. It has been a part of my life longer than it hasn't been, and I can't say it enough that I adore this series. My heart gushes with love, and happy birthday, happy belated birthday to Kingdom Hearts. I can't believe it's 23 years old, because this series, it means the world to me, and I cannot wait till Missing Link is no longer missing, and until we get some Kingdom Hearts 4 news, or whatever else they've got in store for us. Just please give us something. Square, Nomura, we are hungry. We want some more anything, even to just be like, yo, the games are alive. Like, yeah, it was cool to get the Paopu fruit knowledge, even if it was kind of nothing. Give us some information about the games, please. Even if it is just, yo, we have nothing to share. Something. Like, I know that sounds silly, but it has been such a dry period that it is starting to get a little worrying with Square Enix canceling all of their mobile titles, at least maybe not all of them, but the vast majority, and it just being like an absolute graveyard. The Gamers Joint actually touched upon it on Twitter and on YouTube, but it just seems so disheartening to think that maybe Missing Link has gotten canceled. I hope it hasn't, and if anything, it's just been repurposed into a different title. Even if it is still Missing Link, make it a Nintendo Switch 2 fucking headlining title or something. I don't care, because the Nintendo Switch 2 just got announced in this past week too, which I can't believe I almost glanced on talking about that, but holy fuck, that looks insane. Mario Kart World, fucking, you can play as the Moo Moo Meadows cow, hello. But amongst everything, I don't want to ramble too much longer, but the Nintendo Switch 2 could use a Kingdom Hearts game, and if it is the repurposed Missing Link title, I would not be disappointed. But all the same, that's speculation. Who the hell knows? Happy 23rd birthday, though, all of the same, to Kingdom Hearts. Love that series, and I cannot believe it's been alive that long, and it's been a part of my life for as long as it has. It's crazy to think about. But in saying all of that, there has been quite a few new releases on Spotify, so tell me at all my socials what you've been listening to, as I currently have been listening to mostly just Black Veil Brides, amongst Calling All Captains, with some other things sprinkled throughout, but I've been pretty one-track minded when it comes to Black Veil, obviously, and Calling All Captains because I was seeing them, so tell me what you've been listening to. I'd love to hear it. I know Sleep Token's back with some new stuff, a new song called Caramel, and I believe there's a couple other things that I'm completely glancing upon right now, but it's all been very good for what I've heard for new releases. Nothing that has been very disappointing, and I would love to hear what you guys have been listening to. Has it been the new Arrows in Action song? Because that just came out recently, Light Like You. Also, new Bad Flower, new Hot Milk. Like, there's been a lot that's been releasing amongst so much. Even new Blue October came out just recently. Like, that's wild. I didn't expect that at all. But all the same, thank you so much for listening to all of my rambles, and I will have videos posted up as soon as I'm able to get them up. Thank you for listening, and thank you for discovering the music within.